and we have a few things to talk about. Considering this is Wednesday, which means it's Wrestling Wednesdays, and wow, there's a lot that's happened the past 2 weeks. There's a lot that's going to be happening with the other things on Crash with Dash. The Art of Attraction Thursdays. We'll be back tomorrow with that. So everything's back in play. I had to reformat my computer, but I'm still ready, to take things back in play. I had to reformat to the next level for you guys. So as those things are getting, ironed out, there's going to be a few changes. As a matter of fact, the show date will probably change soon because AEW will be starting in October, I believe, on Wednesday, so we'll have to find a new date for that. But we missed 2 weeks of wrestling as far as the show, as far as, talking about it. So we have a lot to cover. And, Dee, have you watched much of Impact the past couple of weeks?
I missed some of it a couple of weeks ago, but
Okay.
I caught a good portion of it this week. I just missed the first match, due to some conflicting schedule problems.
Okay.
Okay, aka work. But but yeah, it was pretty good this week. Like I say, I never have any problem with the action. I just have a problem with the backstage stories. It look like they're trying to get all of that together, making it a little more interesting. And as always, the highlight is your girl, once again, Tessa Blanchard.
Of course.
And what they had her doing was pretty extreme this week, at least in my opinion, because they had her going against your boy Sammy Callahan's monster in the ring. And I got to give it to her, man. Of course, she was overmatched, physically.
Yes.
But girl took some serious bumps and still came out standing after that.
Did she win?
Did she win? Let me see. Did she win? I'm trying to see. I don't think. I think he was disqualified.
Okay.
If I remember correct, because it started getting out of hand, and they was going to try to do it in with a chair. Then of course Tommy Dreamer came down and helped out with the kendo stick and all that. But man, during that match, she was handling it like a pro.
Yeah.
She was getting tossed around, but still, I probably would have just tapped out on the first slam. So that's a testament to what she can endure in that ring.
I was gonna say, for anybody who questions, intergender wrestling, they have every right to question it. But watch Tessa Blanchard before you really start to question it, because there's something special about Tessa Blanchard. When the show first started, I was on record for saying that she's top 3 professional women out there. I'm going to go on record and say she's number 1. Like, she's a solid number 1. She has so much flair to her moves. They look good. She sells well. Her character work is really good. And when she does the moves to the other guys, it's very believable. On her Instagram, she posted she's out somewhere in Mexico at some crazy workout resort where they're doing it all in nature, and she's lifting like crazy amount of weight and everything. That girl is a monster. And she's probably the first female professional I've seen as far as strength and everything, because I think Medusa could have had, and she did have intergender matches, because I think Medusa was a well-oiled machine as far as her wrestling ability. Like, I think Natty could do it too. If you just want to know people who I think have the actual wrestling ability to compete with men, Natty, I don't know how strong she is. I don't think she's Tessa Blanchard's strength. So she may have to go against cruiserweight men. Beth Phoenix obviously was powerful enough to do it, and Beth Phoenix was technical enough to do it as well. But I don't think any of them possessed all of it like Tessa Blanchard does.
What about Charlotte?
Charlotte is Charlotte. I'm the number 1 Charlotte fan in the world, But
I know.
the thing about Charlotte Flair is, I think maybe she could, but her style fits more of the women's style. Just the way she wrestles. Now, but I do believe that Charlotte is talented enough to evolve her wrestling to compete with the men. But I think that she does the women's wrestling style because she's in women's wrestling and she just makes it look better than most other women do, right? But I do think that if they said, "Hey, Charlotte, we need you to start throwing punches. Hey, Charlotte, we need you to do," I think she could do it? Of course. Because I think Charlotte is one of the most athletic women on the planet as far as strength, because she's powerful. Charlotte is much stronger than she appears to be if you kept up with her history. So, yes. But Tessa, like, she's just too. I think she would injure guys as well. I think she's just too dangerous.
Who is this?
Nia Jax.
Oh yeah, she'd hurt somebody.
Yeah,
man.
she's just not. She's not technically sound, and they say she's a sweet person in real life and everything, and I believe all that.
She is.
I believe all that, and good for her. But she's dangerous. I mean, that time when she gave Charlotte Flair the shoulder breaker, but dropped her on her head, like I was like, holy, I was on the edge of my seat because Charlotte Flair is who got me to really, really love modern day women's wrestling. Because I loved Victoria back in the day, I loved Mickey, I loved Trish. These were people that I loved back in the day. So to see the evolution and Charlotte being the forefront and Charlotte being the most, at that time, Asuka was still in NXT. So when she did this, I was like, oh no, because if Charlotte goes down, the women's revolution ceases. There was nobody at the time who could take over that spot. And even with the rise of Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch is no Charlotte. Like, I mean, I'm just if you respect wrestling and technique and skill and all those other things, Becky Lynch is not even close to Charlotte. Like, I don't even know if Becky Lynch is top 5 in WWE right now. Like, if you had to honestly say top 5 main brand women in WWE, Charlotte, Asuka, Ember Moon, Kairi Sane is there, and is there somebody else that we could put above her? Natty.
Natty.
Yeah. So Becky Lynch is not even top 5.
Becky Lynch is over because of her character.
Yeah, but I don't. And they're trying to make her character go back to what it was, but it's too late for me. Like, they spent so much time with the super babyface version of it that her trying to get this mean streak again it's too little, too late. Like, I'm done with the character. The crazy thing is, when she first turned and got the broken face and everything, I'm gonna tell you all this. I own a Becky Lynch the Man T-shirt, and by the time it came in the mail, she had already changed the super babyface, so I've never worn it.
Oh God.
Well, how long was that? Well, how long was the mailing?
Well, I kind of got it. I always wait till WWE does the buy one get one for $1 sale. So by the time they did that, and then it came in the mail, she switched to the super baby face. So it took probably about a week.
Yeah. It's great to be in Boston.
And I was like, nah, I can't wear this. And even though she's turning back, as I said, I've already lost all care for the character itself.
But my thing is, speaking of her turning back, is she really turning back, or is this Natty turning?
Yeah. I mean, the Natty work is good, and I've always liked Natty. Like, I've always felt Natty is what they say, underappreciated, all of those things, right? But it's just I don't know, because Becky was doing questionable things when she did the sneak attack when Natty was training with Finlay, and now Natty's just super aggressive right now. So I think this is just a good move for Natty in general. And I guess that they're using Becky's character to help Natty, but at least Becky is showing signs of the broken face Becky, which is better than super babyface. Oh, I'm so happy to be here in the Steel City.
Well, it's just like I said before, man. A lot of I think more heel people could pull off a face switch if they won't tamper with the character.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
And that's what they did with Becky Lynch.
Yeah, but they always do that. And because when she was attacking Ronda, she was technically a face. She was just, like, no. Well, when she first snuck attack her, no. But after she got the broken face, like, she became, I don't know, she was kind of that transitional heel to face, right? But it was working so well. It was working so well. And now, like, you hear more New Day chants than you do Becky chants, which is crazy to me. But they dropped the ball. That's all I could say. But we are deviating from the main thing. Back to Tessa Blanchard. And we'll get back. Well, let's get back to WWE.
The woman who can work at both.
Yeah, because Tessa Blanchard, by far.
You can make it.
Go ahead.
You can make an argument for Paige too.
Oh, Tessa.
If she was still injured, or if she wasn't injured.
Who's this? Who are you talking about, Eugene?
Oh no. I was just gonna throw another name out there. Like, if she wasn't still, if she didn't have that career-ending injury, Paige could probably hang in there too.
Yeah, I do agree with that, and I do agree because after I've seen some more Paige's work, and I still got to do some more research on Paige. Like, she's one because I was taking sabbatical from wrestling, so for me personally, I've got to go back and watch some Paige. That's something that I want to do, and I do agree. I thought Paige was, basically above where at a young age she was at a very high level and she could have matured. I mean, look how fast Tessa Blanchard matured. I mean, she's become, as I said, the apex of women's wrestling right now, in my opinion. So
big fish in a small pond.
Mm-hmm. So let's go back to Impact. Anything else interesting other than the Tessa Blanchard stuff?
Let's see what else happened.
I got a question for you. What's going on with LAX 2.0?
Well, they having a problem with getting that team together because, what's his face don't want a team with the new guy. And
Santana.
Yeah.
So what's going on with Santana? Is he still selling the leg injury?
What's that? Let me see.
Because Ortiz is with them, right?
Yeah. They got I don't. The problem is I don't know their names.
Okay, Santana is the skinny guy, and Ortiz is the guy with the afro.
Okay, he got jumped last week backstage before they went off the air.
Who did?
I think Ortiz. One of them is injured, right?
So the one that got the leg injury at Slammiversary was Santana.
Okay, well he's not in the picture right now. Conan wants Ortiz to tag with this other cat.
Okay.
Like a pretty boy or something.
Yeah, what's his name? Like Dafa or something like that? I can't even remember his name.
I think so. We wore skinny jeans and loafers. It just looked no socks. And it looks so cute and everything. But I'm
going to be eating a chicken sandwich. I'm just telling everybody right now. I'm hungry, so I don't mean if people are like, that's unprofessional on the stream, be this hungry before you criticize. Go ahead, guys.
Hey, but just don't smack in the microphone. That drives me crazy, man. But anyway, and save me a piece. But anywho, they had a little skit in the back where Ortiz or somebody was in the ring. He finished his match. He was in the back, and then was it the North? Or whoever the North. They was jumping him, and then the other kid that he don't want to tag with came and saved him at the end, and so Conan and them still trying to get them together. I mean, they just did a little shot of that before they went off.
Yeah, and I heard that they're fighting the North this Friday, right?
If they can get along, yeah. Is the pay-per-view this Friday?
I don't think it's a pay-per-view. I think this is just one of those.
This event?
Yeah, because I think the next big pay-per-view is Bound for Glory, right?
Oh.
I don't know. I just know tickets just went on sale for Bound for Glory. I don't know where it's at because Impact, they tell you the name of the stadium, but I don't know where that stadium is. I wish they told you the city. This is something that, if it's something that seems reasonable, I wouldn't mind going to an Impact event.
Really? Well, yeah, the action. You can't argue that.
Tessa Blanchard. I mean, need I say more? Tessa Blanchard. If I would have known that Tessa Blanchard was going to be at the Texas City one where Booker T was there, I would have gone just to see Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, but and I probably would have done the same, but I wouldn't plan to run up on her like I was going to do China though. You know, remember when we went to WrestleMania and
Yes, I remember Dion.
I had my bail money ready and all that good stuff, but my feet was hurting, so I didn't do it. So, anywho, I'm trying to remember what else happened because I just saw that show in bits and pieces. What else was interesting? Oh, hey, Falaba. He made an appearance. He beat Moose. Yeah, Moose.
Falaba beat Moose.
Yes, Falaba beat Moose because Moose was in the ring bitching and moaning about not getting world title caliber shots and all that good stuff. And so he was getting ready to do some damage to that who is that goofy character that act like he's in the Jumanji game or something. Yeah. He was doing he did damage to him before, but he was gonna take out another victim. He already hurt the guy, and he was gonna do even more. Than Falaba came down, and Moose decided to jump him and then make a match on the spot with him because he was dressed in his street clothes. Then Falaba upset him. And
they have no idea what they're doing over there. They have no idea what they're doing.
Dude, that's Falaba. And he lost weight too, like 100 pounds or something.
So now he only weighs 400 pounds instead of 480?
Yeah, well, if you see it 480, then he should be 380. He still got the belly, but don't have as much of it. I mean, that's pretty cool.
So there's Impact. It seems like I missed a lot. I will be catching it this Friday. I'm going to set an alarm in my phone for every Friday so I can make sure to catch Impact. Eugene, have you been keeping up with the G1 Climax?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What you got for us?
Action's picking up. It's starting to get interesting because now Jon Moxley and Kenta have lost consecutive matches in their G1 trials. So it's right now down to the final 4 days. There was one today. There's one tomorrow. There's going to be three straight. Those are going to be the remaining 3 days. It's going to all take place Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So all throughout this weekend. So I'm going to be occupied with that and SummerSlam and Takeover. So it's going to be an interesting weekend for wrestling.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a busy weekend.
Yep.
Because I almost forgot Takeover was happening.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's one of the big 4 pay-per-views, and Takeover, you do their thing right before the big
Yes, sir. And you have to watch Takeover. I mean, Takeover is a must-watch.
Oh, I know.
So Kenta and Moxley, they had both lose consecutive matches?
Yeah, they both. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, because they were both in the lead or either tied at the top in their respective blocks. But let me see. But yeah, Moxley lost to this guy named Toru Yano, who's essentially kind of like the Santino Marella of New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
Oh.
The comedic. Yeah, he's the comedic act, but I mean he can still wrestle, but he's more of the comedic act of wrestling in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So he lost to that guy in like a count out loss, and then he lost to Jay White. I don't know if you know Jay White, who's the leader of Bullet Club.
No, I don't know him. Wind Tunnel.
Okay. Yeah, Wind Tunnel.
Okay.
But yeah, he lost to that, and then Kenta lost to Ospreay today, and he lost to another wrestler a couple of days before. So it's getting interesting because they were at the top. Wind Tunnel.
Yeah, crazy Wind Tunnel.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me finish this stuff. Must be right here.
That's good.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Yeah. But yeah, it's getting interesting towards the final stretch. Can't wait for Saturday.
How does does the G1 work where whoever comes out of their blocks with the high score, then they move on to the next level and they compete? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So whoever is the top point earner from both blocks, they're gonna wrestle the final match on that Monday coming up. That's going to be the final match, and then whomever wins there gets a heavyweight championship title shot after their big event on January 4th in the Tokyo Dome. Hello? Hello?
Yo,
Yo?
Jay, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I had myself muted.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to watch some more of these matches just to get myself, more
Yeah.
acclimated with
It'd
the
be,
Japanese style wrestling first.
most definitely.
So yeah. Well, let's move on. And before we get to Raw, SmackDown, build up for SummerSlam, because surprisingly, I'm actually interested in the SummerSlam, which is the first time I could say that about a WWE pay-per-view in a long time. But let's get to NXT TakeOver. I have not been watching NXT week to week, but the card is a show stealer card. Because of course we have the main event, Adam Cole versus Gargano, and I'm going to assume that HBK is going to be behind the planning of this match like he was with their last match, and it's going to be incredible as well. So that I'm excited about.
HBK.
Yeah, HBK is doing NXT work.
Oh, really?
He's been very active with NXT as of late.
Yeah, as far as teaching them how to create magical matches and things like that.
So has it been working?
Well, that last Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano match, they said HBK was heavily involved with the planning for that match. And that match was incredible. And there's another 2 out of 3 falls match, like they did the last time. Then we have the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era for the tag team titles. I honestly see the Street Profits retaining because they're using them on Raw to try to, I don't know, I guess blackenize Raw. I don't know. I don't know what else to call. I don't know what else to call it. But I'm always confused when they pop up on Raw and just try to, I don't know, make it more street or something. I don't know what they're trying to do. But they're going against the Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era are always good for a match. It's the original Undisputed Era tag team with Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, which I've always liked better than the Roger Strong one. And then we have the North American title, Velveteen Dream versus Roderick Strong versus the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne. Any match that Pete Dunne is in, I am all in on.
Oh yeah.
He's back.
Man.
With the exception of his match against Walter, I just thought that match went on too long, and I thought it should have been more of a squash for Walter. I thought that would have made it more interesting, and then Pete Dunne has to build himself back up to face Walter. I thought that would have been a better story. I felt that match went on too long, and, Pete Dunne, it showed his fortitude and everything, but if it was more of a squash, like if it was 5 minutes, remember how we were talking about those AEW matches? Like, just take away 5 minutes. If you could shorten it by 5 minutes, it makes that big of a deal. But there was just way too
5
many.
minutes too long.
Yeah, but this one was honestly maybe 10 minutes too long. I thought it should have been a squash. Like Walter should have squashed, not 100% squash, but they just gave Dunne like too many moments where it seemed like he was gonna make a comeback, and I thought that he should have gotten squashed. And the story where he's got to question his confidence, question his ability, and then he's got to come back later. But
well, hell, he held the belt for 15 months, didn't he?
Yeah, he held it for a long time.
But he got the question.
But can I beat Walter? Like that's the question. Like not am I caliber, but now that this guy's here, am I caliber? I thought that would have been a more interesting story, but I'm not writing for WWE, so what does it matter? And then next we have Shayna Baszler versus the HBIC, the head Blasian in charge, Mia Yim, for the women's championship.
Yeah.
And then the other match we're going to have is Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, which that should be a very good match.
I'm actually looking forward to that the most.
Yeah, like I'm looking at all of these matches, and mine is Velveteen Dream versus Pete Dunne versus Roger Strong. Candice LeRae and Io Shirai is going to be the match I have my eyes on the most. Yeah, I would say that those two are the matches I'm looking forward to the most. Now, these 5 matches are all going to be good match. I think the worst match, I just don't see these styles working out well, Shayna Baszler and Mia Yim.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see those styles working out. It's not going to be like when Mia Yim was going against Rosemary and they were putting on classics. I don't see that happening here, unless they can surprise me. They may be able to surprise me. But I felt that the Red versus Blue series in Impact Wrestling, when Mia Yim and Rosemary was just those two had really good chemistry, and they were doing some crazy hardcore matches. They were doing some crazy hardcore matches. Those were really good. They did that cage match. They did that one where Rosemary took the German suplex onto the tacks. I mean, they did some crazy stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that match. But honestly, I got my eye on the Velveteen Dream versus Pete Dunne and the Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai the most.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I'm predicting Undisputed Era walks away with all the gold.
I know they promised that. I would just find it to be weird to take the belts off the Street Profits this early, considering their draw on Raw.
True.
Or maybe they'll take them all and move them to Raw, since they seem to like them there so much.
Yeah.
But they really ain't doing nothing but just hanging around in the back.
They're comic relief. They're just another 24/7 title. Just to break up the monotony of Raw. Which, by the way, was there any 24/7 stuff this week on Raw?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, Kanellis. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. That,
oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he pinned his wife and
yes.
took the belt back.
But on SmackDown, there was none.
Right.
That's right. There was none on SmackDown. Okay.
And Truth, took the belt from him right after he came out the office.
Yeah. Yeah, he was dressed up like a lady. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, I was so proud of him when he did it to Maria, but then he went and lost.
Yeah, they're at least finding interesting ways to get Maria and Mike involved into the show,
But I'm kind of with you now. I'm ready to see Mike Bennett again. The Miracle.
Oh man, if they could bring the Miracle Mike Bennett, he was so good.
I heard they had a match on 205 Live between Drake Maverick and Mike Kanellis, like a non-sanctioned match.
Oh really?
Non-sanctioned.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know if it was good or not, but I heard like 205 Live. I think it was. Was it not this past 205? Maybe the one before.
Oh okay.
They had that non-sanctioned match, but yeah, I heard they had a match. I don't know if it's good or not, but.
So. That's kind of weird because both those two were very good in Impact Wrestling. Drake Maverick as Rockstar Spud and Mike Kanellis as the Miracle Mike Bennett. And now they've just been reduced to comic relief. But apparently Maverick and R-Truth are the creative minds behind a lot of the 24/7 segments. And the 24/7 segments are apparently gaining a lot of popularity. So, they're working something, and more power to it. I think it breaks up the monotony. I think it's good for the show.
Heck yeah.
So yeah. So now let's take a look at what's been going on week to week on Raw. So we'll start with Raw. We'll jump to SmackDown. After that, even though there's some crossover, so I'll try my best to not get in the crossover. Before we do that, we do have something to talk about because we have somebody on our panel who remembers this guy. Because as you guys know, Harley Race passed away. I've been listening to a lot of things within the past year or so more about Harley Race because they've been talking about the toughest people in wrestling, like real life toughness in wrestling, and Harley Race is always near the top. Like a lot of people put Harley Race like right behind Ming, and I'm pretty sure everybody's heard the crazy stories about Ming, aka Haku. If you've heard those, they put Harley Race at number 2. Like apparently, Bobby the Brain said that the only 2 people that Andre the Giant ever feared getting into a fight with were Ming and Harley Race. Like Andre the Giant just felt that Harley Race. Yeah, Harley Race. And and I'll tell you another one who they said was really tough. Apparently, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. They said that when he was a backstage producer on WCW, that he beat the hell out of Vader. Like
He did?
yeah, like he kicked him in the face, like when Vader was down. So
And,
yeah, like apparently Vader was just being an asshole, and Paul Orndorff gave him the business. So
damn.
yeah, so
I didn't even know that, man.
yeah, when he was older. So imagine like an older Paul Orndorff beating Vader up. So, and of course everybody's heard about the Steiners and how crazy tough they were. But anyway, back to Harley Race. D, what can you tell us about the little exposure you had to Harley Race when you were watching wrestling, since you have firsthand primary source experience about Harley Race?
Back, like I said, back when I saw Harley Race, those were the days. Well, anybody know those were the days when every territory had their own wrestling promotion. I mean, broken down to the neighborhoods, damn near. So Harley was NWA champion.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I knew of him, he was the NWA champion, and it was, and it was like you almost had to surgically remove that belt from him. No matter who the face the good guy was and went up against him. I mean, this was pre-Ric Flair.
Okay.
And I didn't get to see the Harley Race Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race Ric Flair bouts. I might have heard about them, through the wind, but at the time, when Harley Race came to town, there was guys like Rocky Johnson or Tony Atlas, back when they were still young and everything before they teamed up. And Harley Race, even with Bruiser Brody, for a short while, Harley Race used to have a stint in Houston wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, as a champ when it was big down, because this was one of the bigger promotions. Everybody knew about Paul Bosch and all that. But this guy, he lived up to the claims, because no matter who they put him in the ring with, how they beat on him, they could not beat this man. No matter what. They did everything under the sun to him. They couldn't, like I said, they could not get that belt away from him. He always found a way. And it wasn't like, and when I say found a way, I don't mean slipping and sliding and sneaking out the match with the belt. They just couldn't put him down for the count.
So was he was a heel, correct? Or was he?
Yes.
Okay.
No, heel.
Okay.
Heel, okay? Let's not get that, let's get that understood. And like I said, when even your favorite baby face they couldn't do nothing with Harley Race.
So he wasn't like
tough.
The dirtiest player in the game style heel. He was, I'm tough and you're not going to beat me because I'm that tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he might did a little bit of dirt here and there, but oh man, you want to talk about tough? He and Terry Funk had some classics.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know how Terry Funk fight.
So
I mean, he the one that
that's
taught
something
me.
I got to put that one on my to watch list. Harley Race versus Terry Funk.
Yeah, they had some feuds going on, and I mean, and these guys was going back in those days. When I say tough, using chairs was a big issue. When they talk about, oh my God, he hit him with a chair. They'll talk about it for weeks on end, man. He hit him with a chair. Whereas nowadays, that's just, hitting somebody with a chair. Just,
that's a week-to-week thing,
yeah, they hit, even when they introducing each other, they popping them with chairs, I mean, but when they fought, it was man to man. Wasn't no funny business unless somebody really did cheat and it made national news. Harley Race was I can't cuss on this show. Not like that. Not to that extent. He was an MF man. And like I said, and that was just from the few times that I got a chance to see him. Now when he went to the WWE, where I kind of got to see him regularly, when Vince McMahon, became the juggernaut and all that, and you saw his shows every week and taking over territories. He was a watered down version of himself, in my opinion.
Yeah, because he never won the title in WWE, right? The highest acclaim he ever got was King of the Ring, right?
Right, and it was all gimmicks and everything else. Back then, that's when WWE was more of a comic book than it was, the wrestling show we see today.
And he, correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't stay in he didn't have like a long wrestling career in WWE. He was only there for like 2 years, right?
Yeah, he was there for, I don't know how long his stint was. He was there for a little while with Bobby Heenan's stable. And that was before he went to WCW. You know, when he left left wrestling.
Okay.
I mean, the wrestling ring, and he went to WCW as a manager.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but when he was in his heyday, he was one of the toughest.
Did you ever see him versus Ric Flair? Because I know that on the WWE promo they said that those two had classics.
Yeah, that was the thing, and seeing by that was the problem with territorial stuff. A lot of the other areas was blacked out.
Okay.
So unless you actually lived in the areas where they had those promotions, you was going to miss a lot of classics. And I think, you know, they didn't have pay-per-views. You know, it's like if you call it anything, it was just by chance on closed circuit TV or something like that. So, or if the event was in town, you could go to town and, you know, go to the event
venue and watch it. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I missed a lot of history with some of the classics. I knew of them, but that was only when they traveled around.
Got it.
And they was in that territory for whatever length of time.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and that's how it worked with Harley Race and Dusty Rhodes and all them. You know, before the organization started getting bigger and a little more dominant and spreading out, you know, to different areas more often.
Got it.
And,
okay. All right. Well, thank you for this history on Harley Race. I seem to learn a lot, and I got to look up some matches now. I'm very curious about Harley Race versus Terry Funk, though. That's the one that I'm the most interested in about.
Yeah, and if you look that up, one of the places, if they even have have some kind of site for it, was usually in the Houston wrestling.
Okay.
I mean, because whatever feud they was having around the territories, because it was all part of the NWA, and NWA was the umbrella for a lot of, you know, individual territories. They brought it to Houston, you know, a few times. So that's how I knew of them.
So they do have a Harley Race versus Ric Flair World Heavyweight title match. I don't know if that was one of the title for title or matches that they did, but they have one of those. Now let me see if they have Harley Race versus Terry Funk on YouTube. Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do. Okay. So I got some homework to do now. Harley Race versus Terry Funk. They have the world title match in '77.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah,
it looks like they may have two. Yeah, there's one from March 3rd. Yeah.
I remember what the gripe was. During the match, Harley Race was punching the daylights out of Terry Funk over and over, and he bust him open.
Okay.
You know, and also bleeding was a big deal back then.
Yeah. No, they have quite a few of the Harley Race versus Terry Funk matches. So they have a few of those, and so I got some homework to do. I gotta learn more about Harley Race, because I can tell you this: if Stone Cold Steve Austin holds you in such high acclaim, you're worth watching.
Yeah.
You know, it's that simple. You know, if Stone Cold Steve Austin views you as, you know, that good, then you're worth me doing research into you, whether or not you predate me or not. Because it looks like Harley Race's started to decline like in the early 80s, meaning like that's when I, you know, started watching wrestling. So
right. So, yeah. Well, think about this. Even though it might have been kayfabe, he had got assaulted by Bruiser Brody. Right before his match, he went to the ring. Bruiser Brody didn't want to leave the ring because he was feuding with somebody else, and Harley Race was telling him to get out. Then they mixed it up, and Bruiser Brody was beating the crap out of him. Basically, it's just a lot of haymakers to the head.
Got it.
You know.
Got it.
And then
and we got to clarify this for a lot of the young people. Back then, you could not use closed fists. So so throwing haymakers to the head was a big deal, because like nowadays in wrestling everybody punches, but you couldn't use closed fists back in the day. Like that was a no-no, and you know and that's going back to something I miss about wrestling. And I don't mean to cut you off, but this is something I miss about old school wrestling. that I wish they would bring back. Like the classic Ric Flair's versus Ricky Dragon Steamboat, where Dragon Steamboat gives him a hip toss, and Ric Flair does the thing where he grabs the back of his head and he yanks his head back as if he pulled his hair. Yeah, yeah, and then the ref has to go talk to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and tell him, hey, you can't do that and things like that.
And did it with the trunks too.
Yeah, because those were great moments. The interactions with the heels and the referees getting on the faces about things that they can't do. Like those, but they don't do that anymore because it was and I don't want to take credit for this because this was Jim Ross who said this. Jim Ross said there's no more rules for heels to break. So he said why is everything so different now? Because there's no more rules for heels to break. Thus it's it takes away part of the fun of wrestling. Like that's why every match just seems kind of generic because there's no more rules for the heel to break. There's no real definitive heel versus face or anything. That's why there's so much crossover. Is this Becky Lynch? Is she heel? Is she face? Because there's no more rules for heels to break. Now it's so blatant. Like you have to use what Rowan did this past week. I'm going to pick up the steel steps and hit you with them while you're in the ring. Like you have to go to that extreme now.
Yeah, and you got to think also back then with the wrestling styles, the matches are a lot quicker because you're not going to see a lot of arm bars and headlocks and chin locks and everything where you have time to do the theatrics, to work into the story where you're talking about, oh, he pulled my hair, he pulled my tights, check his boots and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Now the action is just quicker because you got a time limit to get in the ring, do the story, then get out.
Yeah. Yeah, so there wasn't as many break holds and things like that. And it seems like now, and I'm not saying the theatrics are bad, because we've been hyping up AEW and they put on a lot of theatrics. But back then it was just different. But all I'm trying to say is there's things I miss about old school wrestling that unless you really grew up watching it, it's hard for you to understand. Like, are these people more talented, more athletic and things today? Yes. Yep. Are they putting on better matches? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. The moves were better now, but back then they sold the story so much better, and they were better storytellers in the ring. Exactly,
and they had more mat technique.
Yes.
Or better mat technique. Yes. Now you really don't see a lot of actual wrestling anymore. At least not in the not in the stuff we watch.
Yeah.
You see a lot of moves. Yeah. You see a lot of flying. You see a lot of violence, but you don't see a lot of actual grappling.
And this is one of the reasons why I'm so anti-strong style, and I'm saying that, but I love Aleister Black. And I'm growing more into Shinsuke Nakamura. Like when it first started, I wasn't that big a fan of it. But wrestling has become so much more striking based that it's hard to tell a story with strikes.
Right.
Like in the ring. It's like, oh, what is your whole repertoire of striking? I just think Aleister Black is kind of a magician that he can break that rule, right? Like Aleister Black is just so good with his smoothness, like his transitions, all those things that. But the thing is, I want to see Aleister Black in a match where he's really tested to see how he could do in a long drawn out match before I really do that. And I mean something other than NXT. I mean something in the main brand with guys like a Roman Reigns or somebody who doesn't really do these things before I really put Aleister Black on where he is. Like a Dolph Ziggler, for example, right? Like if Aleister Black had a 30-minute match with Dolph Ziggler, how does that look? Does it get to the point where you get tired of seeing the moves that Aleister Black has? Do you see what I'm saying?
You want to see the full extent of his repertoire.
I want to see the full extent of his repertoire and what he could do if he were in a big event picture.
Right.
Because in a main event picture, you got to put on a match for 20 minutes, right?
Well, did you watch any of his NXT?
But that's what I'm saying. Other than the people on NXT, because the people on NXT are all very talented and can help him do that. But that doesn't make you a star, right?
Right.
So if he had to do that against a Roman Reigns, how would that look?
Do
you see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's where I think we'll really begin to see the Aleister Black. If he had to do it against a Bobby Lashley, a 20-minute match against a Braun Strowman, like how
no, Samoa Joe.
Well, Samoa Joe can go because that would be a great match, hands down.
Yeah, because I think he had a great strikers match between him and Cesaro.
Yeah,
I mean, it was all strikes, but I loved it, because I think Cesaro can match anybody as far as whatever style they want to go between striking and grappling. But yeah, you put him in the ring with somebody like a Samoa Joe or somebody who can probably slow him down.
But somebody but the thing is, if Aleister Black is ever going to rise to the big picture, how would he do in a match against those big picture guys, as I said, like a Roman Reigns, like a Bobby Lashley, like a Braun Strowman, like these guys where after in a 20-minute, well, Braun Strowman doesn't seem to put on 20-minute matches anyway, but you get what I'm talking about. Like if Aleister Black were to rise, the only way I see this happening is if Vince fully accepts the fact that wrestling is changing and that they need to go more with the NXT style versus the main brand style. Like that's the only way I see Aleister Black really getting that push. Just like Ricochet. It's kind of hard for Ricochet to really get that meteoric push because Vince has to accept that this is what wrestling is becoming. Vince has to accept that. So
Vince got to get out of his own way.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll find out. But let's go on to Raw SmackDown. Was there anything else you wanted to say about Harley Race?
Well, let's see. What else was there? Let's see. Roman Reigns almost got hit by a car. That angle.
Oh, you're just straight up spoiling it, huh?
Huh?
You're just straight up going into the Raw. Eugene, did you watch Raw and SmackDown or just Raw or anything like that?
I watched Raw. I think I watched Raw this week and last week. And a little bit of SmackDown this week and last week. Okay.
So Ricochet versus AJ Styles, I'm already bored of that. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yes, I'm already bored of that. The triple threat tag team, the OC comes out as the tag champions. The only bad thing is the Revival weren't on this week, so I don't know if the Revival's contract's running up and they never re-signed or what's going on with the Revival. I really don't know. The War Raiders squash match. I did like the sneak attack by Natalya on Becky Lynch, though, because remember they showed earlier that day when she was getting trained by Fit Finlay to get out of the disarmor, and then Becky Lynch snuck up on her. Yeah, but I like the natty change. We've already talked about the Maria Kanellis winning the 24/7, forcing Mike to get down, and then how Mike Kanellis gets the revenge on her in the OBGYN, just laid down, and then R-Truth dressed up as a woman. We talked about that.
Right.
The Brock Lesnar beat up of Seth Rollins was just great. That was just great.
Oh, you know what? What else? The previous week, I liked how SmackDown ended with that.
Well, let's get to SmackDown.
I mean not SmackDown. I meant Raw.
The brawl, and then Cedric Alexander jumped off the stage. yeah, that was kind of cool.
No, I mean where they left Samoa Joe laying out in the ring.
Yeah.
They made an X out of him.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a cool way to end the show because it ended with a lot of excitement, a lot of violence, a lot of stuff you kind of miss,
Yeah.
No theatrics, just ass kicking, And everybody got a chance to shine a little.
Here's something I don't like. The Drew McIntyre versus Kevin Owens, because they were just setting Drew McIntyre up to lose. Like, what are they doing with Drew McIntyre? It's like sometimes you think he's going to be this dominant heel, and they just have him taking these weird losses. Like, I didn't mind the roll-up by Cedric Alexander, but the fact that Kevin Owens beat him clean, and Drew McIntyre kicked out of the pop-up powerbomb, so the pop-up powerbomb is now a setup move for the stunner, even though pop-up powerbomb is better than the stunner. Because he doesn't go for Kevin Owens. Even Stone Cold said he gives Kevin Owens a B+ at best for his usage of the stunner. I think that's him being nice. I would say it's probably closer to a B- or C to me. But I think
But
Stone Cold and Kevin Owens are buddies. So,
but it's not. It's just not his move. The pop-up power bomb is tailor fitted for Kevin Owens.
Exactly.
So
And then they had the.
If anything, I think it should reverse it. Use the stunner as a setup move.
Yeah, I agree. Bayley and Ember Moon versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. That's when Bayley faked that she was checking on her to give her the Bayley to belly or whatever the hell it's called. And then of course we had the return of Trish Stratus.
Yeah,
and this match would have been exciting 5 years ago.
Yeah. And apparently, I guess they knew that because she didn't even get in the match.
No. And so, I am not looking forward to this match at all. And here's the crazy part. I'm a huge mark for Charlotte, as everybody knows.
I know.
But who was I a huge mark for back in the day, D? You know this. Trish Stratus.
You're right.
Because you remember when I was explaining to you, like, the evolution of Trish Stratus. I was like, look at what she has become. I don't know if you remember that. Just this valet to doing stalling suplexes on women. Like, like stalling suplexes. That little girl used to give stalling suplexes. I don't know if a lot of you all remember Trish Stratus back in the day. So, yeah, not excited about that at all.
Came a long way from barking like a dog, huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Even Eugene remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
During the Vince era.
Yep.
The days of lingerie matches and pillow fights
and mud wrestling and pudding wrestling and Sable taking off her boobs with handprints. Yeah, taking off her top with boobs out on national television. On national television. That wasn't even a pay-per-view, man, was it? Or was it on? That was a pay-per-view. I remember.
And then. Nah, the only one that slipped up was the cat.
Oh yeah. Well, no. Well, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I would say Jacqueline had her slip, but that was overseas.
Oh yeah. You're talking about slips, and you were saying when you were saying the cat, I'm thinking Ernest the Cat Miller. I wasn't thinking of Miss Kitty the Cat.
Oh my
Lord! I was like, wait, what's this guy talking about?
No.
What is this guy talking about? I thought you were talking about Miss Kitty the Cat. I was like,
it ain't like you gotta take off his bottom for him to slip.
And the thing is, for the one person that's watching right now, because we actually get more views on YouTube, for the one person that's watching right now, they probably saw my face reaction like, the hell is he talking about? The cat?
No, his trunks have to fall down for him.
Yeah. And then you had The Fiend is getting much more airtime. And I actually like that he's using the mandible claw. I think that fits The Fiend perfectly. And I hope that becomes his new finisher, like the Sister Abigail's more of a setup move, how we were talking about Kevin Owens.
But Sister Abigail is for Bray Wyatt.
Yes, The Fiend, the mandible claw is perfect for The Fiend.
Yeah, because it's like a slow torture.
Yes.
So
and that's one of those things where that works. Are you stealing a move? Sure. But it works for the character versus the stunner for Owens is not the Kevin Owens. Like the pop-up powerbomb is Kevin Owens.
The problem is the stunner is just too iconic.
Yeah, and you can never. It's like how we were talking about the DDT. You have a lot of people who have nice DDTs, but do any of them? And it might even be one of those nostalgia things where your nostalgia is kicking in, and you think that Jake the Snake just delivered it better than everybody. But I could still watch a Jake the Snake DDT right now and be like, man, that was smooth.
And buy it.
Yeah, and buy it. And so that's what I'm talking about. Like
because it's his move.
Yeah.
Not some when the original does the move, it belongs to him. He can sell it better.
Sure, and it's not just. But I've seen people like, for example, Eddie Guerrero, top 5 wrestler of all time in my opinion. We'll get to that episode when we talk about that. But Rob Van Dam's 5-star frog splash is beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Doesn't look better than Eddie Guerrero's. Yes. But Eddie Guerrero, you could be 3/4 down that ring and he's going to hit you with that frog splash. But, so what I'm saying is there are certain people who have taken a move to bigger heights. And I've always been an Eddie Guerrero mark. But
Right.
Rob Van Dam had a prettier frog splash. Like, it's hands down. I mean, there's a reason they call it the 5-star frog splash, right?
Right.
So yeah. So
But it's the 5-star the 5-star splash, and then the frog splash.
sure, but it's still the frog splash. But it's just the
Right.
five, you know. And here's the other weird thing that I don't know what was going on with SmackDown, and this is a kind of tie into this week, is they had Nakamura go against Ali, where Ali picks up the sneak win on Nakamura, but then this week on SmackDown, Nakamura loses. After he's been giving these great promos and everything, he loses clean to Dolph Ziggler. Like, right when they put him in that match with Dolph Ziggler, I was like, he's going to lose. So it's like, what are y'all doing with Ali? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's like they don't know what they're doing.
Now, is that something I got to ask though? You know, we've been criticizing the creative for the longest,
Yes.
right? Okay, now, in all fairness, we can criticize the creative side of things. Now, is that the actual writers or is that Vince? Because I understand. Because I understand that they would have ideas already laid out, and Vince will come a ride with it, but then at the very last second pull the plug and go with his own.
Because,
you know, and
but what that does though, but think about this. So Vince is basically saying, yeah, you know, hey Vince, we're working on pushing Ali. He's done these great promos. Like, these promos that Ali is doing are fire. I think they're some of the best promos. You know, where he's sitting outside under the light,
right?
And he's talking about his comeback and all these things. Those are
and
very good, right? Very good. He comes back, he beats Nakamura. You're like, okay, he's gonna get an Intercontinental title push. Cool. Like, you know,
right?
I'm for that. Ali versus Nakamura. I'll watch that match, right? And then you see, I don't even remember who Dolph Ziggler beats a Rey Mysterio, which I don't care about. And then Ali comes running out, and as soon as they were like, okay, we're gonna have this match, I was like, wait a second, Dolph Ziggler's about to fight Goldberg. So Dolph Ziggler's obviously gonna beat Ali. That means Vince is basically saying, that Ali push that y'all been working on for the past few months, squash it. It has to be. Because that doesn't make sense. As soon as Ali came out, everybody should have known he was going to lose. If Dolph Ziggler is fighting Goldberg, the only other way they could have played that is if Goldberg's music hit and Dolph Ziggler was like, what's going on? And Ali snuck up a roll-up, right?
Right.
That's the only. But Dolph Ziggler went clean.
The one thing I don't understand is, okay, you want to create the drama here, but whatever happened to the middle ground? Neither one had to lose. You could have had them fight, but fight to a double DQ or a no contest or anything without anybody losing ground on a momentum push or hurting.
But it just goes to show that don't. But here's the problem with that, D. Dolph Ziggler is in a big match coming at SummerSlam. He's in one of the biggest matches. Ali's not even on the card. So when they set it up, it was what you're saying could not have happened. Because this is just wrestling 101. Oh, we got to set up the match for Goldberg, so we have to have Dolph Ziggler win. Right? But why choose Ali is my question.
Wait a minute, did he win clean?
Yeah, he won clean.
I didn't see the match.
He won clean, super clean.
He could have. You see, they could have did some dirt, and he could have got
Ali couldn't. Here's the problem. Ali could not afford a loss this early. Period. Whether it be clean, whether it be dirty, Ali could not afford a loss. There had to be somebody else on the roster they could have chosen or done somebody from the Raw shakeup. Because since Rey Mysterio came over anyway, Ali could not afford this loss, period, whether it's clean, whether it's dirty. This was bad decision-making on their part.
Bad.
Period. This was terrible.
So they sacrificed the wrong guy.
Completely the wrong guy. Like, it made absolutely no sense to me. Like, I was sitting there watching it right when Ali came out to save Mysterio. If he would have just beat up Dolph Ziggler and the segment ended, but right when they said, "Oh, we're gonna have a match," I was like, "This is terrible," because I already knew the end result right when they said we're gonna have this match. I knew the end result, and it was just bad.
Yeah.
It was just bad. So yeah, there was that. And then last week the main event was Kofi Kingston versus AJ Styles, and that's where Kofi Kingston caught the phenomenal forearm with the Trouble in Paradise to pick up the win. Interesting match, I guess. It was interesting. Wasn't fantastic, but it was a good SmackDown main event. I'll say that.
Right.
Let's get to this week now. Let's get to this week's Raw.
This week's Raw?
Yes, we're going to go to Raw first. So, The Miz, when he tricked... okay.
That's why I jumped it.
Yeah, hold on. Because this is going in reverse order, apparently. No, it's not. It's just going in a weird... Viking Raiders, of course, squash match.
Of course.
The Drew McIntyre, Cedric Alexander, when they wrestled... But then The Fiend came out and got Kurt Angle with the mandible claw. That was cool.
And that's all that was about.
Yeah. Andrade defeats Rey Mysterio with the help of Zelina Vega. That was a good match.
That was a good match.
That was a very good match. This week's Raw was just flat out good. Flat out good.
All Heyman good, huh?
Yeah, I loved the Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus and Natty. Even though Trish Stratus didn't get in the ring, which I kind of figured she wouldn't, but I liked the ending, how Charlotte just walked off, and then how Natalya refused to release the sharpshooter. I thought that was great. I thought that was a great way to do it, and I thought the Miz Ziggler
Killer
thing.
Instinct.
I liked that. I mean, I know this thing I'm looking at rated it as a D+. I thought it was a good setup for Goldberg to bring him out.
Yeah, because I thought that was a hell of a swerve.
Yeah, I did
like
too. I don't know why this guy rates this as a D+. This just goes to show you that CBS Sports has no idea what they're talking about when it comes to it. That was a very good swerve.
Yeah, because I really thought it was going because the whole thing, with the contract, I, had no idea. I'm thinking, okay, they fixing to do this, and some fixing to go down with HBK and Ziggler in the ring. And then when he said, "You're not going to be fighting me," I'm like, "Oh, HBK, and that's going to be..."
Yeah, and everybody was excited. And he goes, "Oh, by the way," and how Ziggler was all like, "Yeah, I've been waiting for this." Ziggler, you heard him say it, even though he was on the mic. "Yeah, I've been waiting for this." Blah blah blah. And he goes, "Oh, don't look at me. It's not me either." And right then, you knew who it was, and that was great.
And I thought, when you think back on it, that was a good setup. Because the time that Ziggler mentioned Goldberg.
All those times that he mentioned him. Because he's been mentioning him for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So all the times that he's been mentioning. Yeah.
And I kind of think it's good for Goldberg because this will give him a chance to maybe
redeem himself. Because that, godly.
Because even though, now we never accused Goldberg of being technically sound and all that business. But
he could put on something better than what he did at that Super Showdown,
right.
Dog.
And I really think it had something to do with that heat over there. To be honest. Old age and heat.
Yeah. So we'll find out. Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, I didn't feel it this week. And the whole Rollins picking up the mic and what he said afterwards, I thought was lame.
Yeah, that was...
Honestly, I want Brock Lesnar to win. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
I think he is.
Well, Seth's guaranteed winning.
Yeah, I want Brock to win. And I'm a Seth Rollins guy. But I'm not buying this. I want Brock to win.
Or maybe Seth wins off a DQ or something.
And then we talked about the Roman Reigns car attack already with Samoa Joe waiting for him. I thought that was good to build up Samoa Joe. Guys. Yeah, I thought that was good for Samoa Joe. It gave him a lot of mic time on the episode, and Samoa Joe always kills it when he's on the mic.
What do you think about that deal there with Samoa Joe's reaction and his human reaction to the situation?
As I said, I thought it was good because Samoa Joe, it gave him a lot of mic time, and anytime Samoa Joe's on the mic, it's always a plus. And then that show revolved around a lot of Samoa Joe.
I'm talking about, what do you think of his reaction with the incident as far as?
When he was like, "Hey man, you all right?" and everything.
Yeah.
I was good with that. I was good with that because it shows that Samoa Joe, I'll fight you, but I want to fight you legitimate. I'll beat you legitimately.
Right.
So I felt that was good that they did that.
Now, do you think is that gonna be the segue to a face turn, or that's just
Even if it is,
just
you
a
know,
moment?
you already. Ever since the Usos have gone to Raw and everything, but I forgot that what's his name on SmackDown. I want them to make a Samoan stable. I want them to make a Samoan stable, and it'll give Tamina a push. I think that Nia Jax could be in there, and they
She ain't injuring people.
yeah, and that would just be like this dominant like stable where they're going after all. And I want it to be heel though. That's the problem because Roman would be in it, but I want it to be a heel Samoan stable with the Usos, Samoa Joe. Like, so imagine like Roman Reigns with one title, Samoa Joe with the other title, the Usos taking both tag team titles from both brands, and then the two girls taking the women's tag team titles. That would be sick.
But it'll be a while before you see the Nia Jax though, because both her ACLs are tore up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she hurt herself this time.
Very true. What else happened? Oh, the new women's tag team title match. Only thing I didn't like about that match is that the Iconics were the first ones eliminated. I didn't like that at all.
You
Fatal 4-Way. No, it just made the Iconics seem like that they were always just paper champions, which they were. But the thing is that the fact that they actually made that happen, I did not like. They should have had it where they used trickery to survive longer. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, like they didn't use any trickery at all or anything like that, and that's the part I don't like.
They had to eliminate them first because they want to make all the other three teams look good to make a point.
They wanted to make the other three teams look good, but at the same time, does that mean you want to make the Iconics look bad?
Well, you got to understand something. While they was did they get any ratings for the belts or for their time with the?
Well, they didn't. They never had matches.
True.
So how do we know?
Matches.
Not their fault either.
Yeah, or they gave them those squash matches, which I thought was pretty clever. Like, hey, we were fighting the toughest tag team in this city. You know, I thought that was clever.
Yeah, in that zip code.
Yeah, I thought that was clever, but you know, I felt like the Iconics with the women's tag team titles was a waste because they didn't do anything with them. I thought the move was good, but I don't think that they developed anything with them that they could have. And I don't know if it's for lack of TV time or what, but I just felt that what I thought should have been a good move turned out to be a bad move because the creative team didn't know what the hell they were doing with it.
True. I'm pretty sure that didn't make Sasha any more happy.
No.
Because that's been a big deal the whole time.
By the way, you know how we were talking about... Oh, go ahead, Eugene, sorry.
No, I was going to mention, did you hear Gail Kim's comments about them kind of like wasting away the Asian talent?
Really?
Oh, you talking about the Kabuki Warriors?
Yeah, they are, man.
No,
they
but
are.
Like when they introduced the Kabuki Warriors, you know how they have the icons saying Kabuki Warriors, and then they have their Twitter handles and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like they put Kairi Sane's Twitter handle, and then they put Io Shirai's Twitter handle. So I'm like, oh yeah, and Gail Kim kind of called them out on their crap on that. So,
well, of course. I mean, versus the way Impact treated Gail Kim, Mia Yim, back when she was, what was her name in over there? Jade. I mean, the way they treated them, I mean, those women were top talent. I agree. I 100% agree. There's no reason Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross need these belts, other than the fact that they're on TV a lot. There's no reason that they needed the tag team titles.
And look, you know what makes my nuts hurt in all of this here. Speaking of that, there's no reason Asuka should be invisible.
Of course. No. Hold on. There's no reason Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Paige should be invisible.
Yeah, I mean whether it's singles, tag teams, or whatever.
There's no reason any of those three should be invisible. That's insane.
Because they really should be in the upper echelons of even the women's world's titles, not the tag, just singles.
So here's what I don't like about Vince. Andrade, I want to push. Vince, you need to learn English. Okay. All right. Umaga didn't fucking speak. Excuse my language.
Yeah, just give him a mouthpiece.
Umaga didn't even... Did Umaga even have a mouthpiece? I don't even remember.
He had
Yeah,
Estrada.
He had who?
Yeah, who was this?
Armando Estrada, that Cuban dude that
Oh,
would,
okay.
break the Cuban cigar.
Okay. So, I can think of plenty of people who didn't even... Like, when The Undertaker had Paul Bearer. I mean...
Yokozuna.
Yeah, all these people who have been champion... The Great Khali was champion!
I mean, goddamn it, Brock Lesnar don't have say shit. So what the...
Right? The Great Khali of all people was champion. The Great
Dude.
Khali!
Brock Lesnar. He
King.
speaks English. And so what's the...
So, the Kabuki Warriors, like, could still be there. Because the only reason I like the fact that Paige is a manager, I just wish she was a heel manager. That's the only thing I want, is for Paige to be a heel manager. And I wouldn't mind her managing dudes as well. I know she wants to manage women, but I think that Paige could just be a man. I think she could be like a Bobby the Brain, you know?
Hey, this loss could make a heel manager.
I don't know. I just don't like...
No. I mean, listen to me. They could do a story where they could swerve it where they feel like they being overlooked. Just like Kevin Owens griping about TV time and all that good stuff. And she's saying, and then she could turn them into real warriors where they start taking out competition, beating the crap out of everybody.
That doesn't fit Kairi Sane.
But I think
Kairi Sane's a babyface, and I want her to stay a babyface. I like her as a babyface.
Oscar can't corrupt her.
Go ahead, Eugene. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I think to some extent, for a heel or for a manager to be heel, you have to like instill some kind of physicality. Like Bobby the Brain was physical, Jimmy Hart was physical, and Paige with her injury, I think it limits her from not being really physical.
Well, you know what?
She could do things like where you're going against the ropes and she just grabs your feet.
Interfere, yeah.
I mean, you could do that.
Interfere, she still knows how to get into the ring to draw the referee's attention, right?
Yeah, and because Bobby Heenan didn't do no flips or nothing. Yeah. All they got to do is just do some underhanded stuff.
Yeah.
And she could throw some strikes. She just can't take bumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like Heenan and Hart, they took bumps. Like if he distracted the team.
Yeah, but Zelina Vega never takes bumps.
Right.
Yeah, true.
She can, but she don't.
Yeah, Zelina Vega's a great manager, by the way.
She would do the Hurricanrana though. She would do the
and to be honest, and to counter Vince's argument, there's your English right there.
Yeah, and she's really good at working with Andrade. To me, that is because, and the thing is, a lot of people don't know that she can wrestle.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, she used to be in Impact. Yeah, she was Rosita in Impact. So she can wrestle. It's not like she just knows how to do a Hurricanrana and knows how to do... No, look, Zelina Vega can actually wrestle. Mm-hmm. But this is a much better role for her to be Andrade's manager. And I feel that she gets very good respect as a manager versus Paige, who's not getting any. You know?
Yeah, no TV time, nothing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but... And back to what I was saying, Alexa Bliss is one of the only people who is a heel due to her reactions with the referee. Like, when they're doing the 5 count, she screams at them, "I know!" and things like that. Like, she does that magically. Like it's like a homage to what I was talking about, like old wrestling, and breaking the rules and all of those things. Like, I think Alexa Bliss does a very good job with that, and her character work still is the best in WWE right now. It's better than Becky Lynch's character work. Like, it's the best.
Oh yeah.
Her character work. I'm trying to think.
Because she never changed.
Is there anybody in women's wrestling, period, who's got a better character work than Alexa Bliss?
Charlotte.
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
What do you mean no?
No.
Explain yourself.
No.
How you just gonna tell me no?
No. Look.
Do you know who I am?
Charlotte Flair is that good. But is her character work on level of Alexa Bliss? No. No. Okay. I just don't think so. I just can't. I just don't think so. As I said, the way that Alexa Bliss works with the referees, all of those things, like she stays in character from top to bottom, and she does it well. She does it super duper well. The only thing Charlotte does when the referees tell her to break up the count, she just looks at them and goes, "Woo!" Like she's not screaming at them, when the referee releases Alexa Bliss's hand, she points at him to raise her hand longer and things like that. And
hey,
she could technically kick the referee's ass.
Yes, she could.
So
like literally, like Charlotte could do that. Yes, like literally. So. I just didn't like that. And I'll tell you another match I just skipped because I had no interest in it. The OC defeating Ricochet, the OC defeating the New Day and Ricochet. Literally no interest in that match. I skipped it. And I know that.
You did?
Yeah, I know that I saw the end where they got the Magic Killer. Just didn't care about it.
I see.
So that was Raw. That was Raw. Okay, let's look at SmackDown. Okay.
We talked about SmackDown.
We didn't do week 2 SmackDown.
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
You remember? Yeah, we did week 1. The Charlotte Flair Trish Stratus was good. That was good. Their square off was actually very good. I liked it.
Wait a minute, they squared off?
Yeah, on SmackDown.
They just
I thought they was
like they cut promos.
Oh, talk.
Where Charlotte Flair came out there and said, "I'm gonna show you highlights on why I'm the best woman," and then it turned out to be a Trish Stratus thing, and then Trish Stratus came out and said, "Oh, did you like what I did with the production there?" And they had their little standoff, and then Trish Stratus slapped Charlotte, and Charlotte smiled and walked away. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Mysterio came out, or was it Mysterio that yeah, and then you heard the Goldberg music, and everybody thought it was gonna be Goldberg, but it was Dolph Ziggler coming out. That was good.
Ziggler trolled the.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
Oh wait, well, we forgot to. Well, speaking of that, it was nice to see HBK return the favor Monday night.
That was actually very good. That was actually very good. We did not mention that.
That surprised me.
Yeah, just bam, because I thought he was still at ringside myself. You know, I didn't know they already went on to the back and all that good business. So, bam, like perfect. So, Dolph comes out okay, you have to forgive me because I missed like the first 40 minutes, I think, of SmackDown.
Okay. Bam. So you didn't even see like a Natalya versus Ember Moon?
See Natalya who what?
Versus Ember Moon?
Yeah. I did catch that. Well, Bayley came out and rescued her and all that stuff.
And then Ember Moon pushed her. I see, but that's good.
Natty pushed her.
Oh yeah, that's right. But that's kind of good but Ember Moon looked at Bayley like when Bayley was trying to give her help, she looked at her like, "Don't touch me." That's what I meant. You know, when Bayley came out to help after Natty pushed her. But see, that was a good way to do it. Like these are 2 matches going to the going to the pay-per-view, and neither one of them came out on top. Like it was no contest.
Right.
Versus Ali, who literally lost super clean.
Yeah, which was, like I said, was screwed up. They could have sent out Ember Moon to take on Dolph Ziggler and let her go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I was saying, no, Ember, Bayley got her payback. Y'all even now. Y'all can be competitors again without worrying about getting a belly to belly and all that.
So,
as long as you don't do that stuff.
What y'all think about the Kevin Owens Shane McMahon thing?
Nah.
Actually, it was kind of predictable to me. Because I knew something was going to happen, and whatever was going to happen, Shane was going to come out on top.
Yeah.
With that, because Kevin ain't going nowhere. So.
Of course. Too predictable.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in this business too long. I know the setups. I know the formats.
I got something for you. The Aleister Black versus Sami Zayn. When Aleister Black was laying down with the microphone, that was so bad. No, Sami Zayn! What they didn't tell you is that this match is not happening at SummerSlam. It is happening right now! And then he drops the mic, and then the music starts while he was laying down on the platform. That was so bad. Like, why didn't they just pre-record him saying it on the Titantron? They gave him... The smoke machine was already on, and you saw him laying down with a microphone in his hand. That was so bad.
Hey, man, it must have been an intern.
And he couldn't even talk. He couldn't even talk correctly because he was laying on his back. So it sounded so stupid. It was so bad. But Aleister Black did look good in the match.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn looked bad in the match, but Aleister Black.
What are they? Okay, so what are they plans with Sami Zayn? Because he ain't won nothing since he came back.
I don't know.
I mean, is he just there to piss the audience off and keep it moving? Or
I guess.
Or they actually going to
lose
do
matches?
a push with him?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it ends with the New Day versus the New Daniel Bryan and Rowan. And that's when the New Day, when Rowan actually hit Xavier Woods with the steel steps while he's in the ring. I thought that was actually kind of cool. And then, and then when you see Roman Reigns backstage interrogating Buddy Murphy, which Buddy Murphy finally got TV time. And then, of course, Buddy said, it was Rowan. And so, what's going to happen?
No Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, he said Daniel Bryan was there. Now, the rumor this whole time had been it's Daniel Bryan, and I'm assuming that Daniel Bryan had Rowan do it, and that we're going to find out because everybody said that, those two are expected to work together, Daniel Bryan and Roman. So, those two are expected to work together. So, I guess...
Did they ever get around to his announcement?
I think that's what it is. I think we'll find out.
It was me, Austin. It was me.
It's gonna be one of those moments like at SummerSlam.
But no, he was doing this announcement.
Yes.
This tease long before
where he was what he was going to do next. But I think you're going to see Rowan versus Roman Reigns, and then I think Daniel Bryan's going to interfere in that match, and that's where we find out that Daniel Bryan was really the mastermind behind all of it.
You see, it was me, Roman, because you've been killing the planet. You've been using all that oil from the earth to put in your hair.
No, he'll probably say something like, this company doesn't care about all these things, and you're the face of the company. So if I defeat you, it'll probably be some angle like that. Is what I'm assuming.
Defeat? He tried to kill him. What?
Yeah, I know.
It's a little beyond defeating, man.
So we'll find out. Yeah,
I want to see Daniel Bryan come out with a earth-friendly vest similar to Roman Reigns' vest.
That would be great.
What, made of moss and leaves and shit?
Yeah.
So we have, as I said, two solid shows leading up to SummerSlam. I feel like this is the best build-up to a pay-per-view they've done in a long time. Like, I felt like... Really? Think about Extreme Rules. Like, none of us were excited about Extreme Rules, and we actually were surprised that there was a couple of matches.
You know why? Because this time no Corbin and no Lacey Evans.
Which I don't mind Corbin and Lacey Evans. I didn't like what they were doing with that whole match, the boyfriend girlfriend thing and everything.
Yeah.
I don't want to, and because Corbin's been off TV, and I've been wondering what's going on. Same with Lacey Evans, like they haven't even been on.
Yeah, come to think of it, Lacey's been invisible a lot.
So
she's probably getting heat for the tweets to Alundra.
The heat, the tweets. What's she been saying?
I didn't hear about this.
Her and Alundra Blaze have been going back and forth about I don't know if it was kayfabe or whatnot, but there's some Twitter banter going on, so that could be one of the reasons. I'm not 100% sure if that's the reason.
Mm-hmm. So, as always, before pay-per-view, we're going to do our match predictions. And let's see what we get correct with our match predictions for SummerSlam. Here we go. Match 1, Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. I'm going Brock Lesnar.
Brock.
I'm going Seth.
Okay, and
this is all he got.
And for me, this is also for my mind. It better be Brock Lesnar. If it's Seth Rollins, I don't know what's going on with the Universal picture. and I don't see it going in a good direction. And this is coming from how Charlotte is my number one female in WWE. Seth Rollins is, for me, I want to say he's number one, but I'm a big Andrade fan, so I don't know. So those two are like neck and neck. Becky Lynch versus Natalya. Becky Lynch.
Really? Natty. Becky Lynch drops the belt.
I would not be surprised if they pull a freaking Survivor Series stunt, where since it's a submission match, someone gets into a disarmor and then they call the bell, and they pull that swerve.
What, a Montreal screw job?
Kind of it's screw job esque.
So
in favor of Natalya.
In favor of Becky. In favor.
Okay. So you're calling Becky. I'm saying Becky's going to win clean.
Clean tap out.
Clean tap out.
I'm going the other way with that one.
Bayley versus Ember Moon.
Wow.
I want Ember Moon to win this so badly.
I do too, but I think Bayley wins just because I think she's becoming. They're trying to make her a bigger deal than what she is.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any news on Sasha? Like any rumor about her?
That's true. I did hear that she's supposed to come back. By the way,
she's gonna. What's up?
Another comeback that we missed. Tommaso Ciampa is supposed to be at at NXT Takeover, right?
Really?
No, because he comes back on the 15th, which is next week. But still, this is very close. Tommaso Ciampa is due back very soon. We forgot to mention that for NXT.
Already?
So somehow, some way, Tommaso Ciampa is already due back very soon. So he might have a sneak appearance at NXT. So that could change the title picture up there for that match. So as a matter of fact, we'll go back to that because I don't think we picked that card either. But okay, so sorry.
I'm gonna say Ember. I'm gonna go Ember.
Sasha
Banks interferes and
costs Bayley the belt.
I'll go with that too. And to me, that's way more interesting than either one of those two winning clean. Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. Kofi Kingston.
Kofi.
Cup of coffee.
Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. I think we can skip that.
Kevin.
Yeah, I think we all go.
Kevin Owens. Yeah.
Finn Balor versus The Fiend.
The Fiend.
Yeah, especially with Balor taking his break. I don't think there's any surprise with that. Trish Stratus versus...
Do you think...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you think he's gonna come out with the demon persona, or is it just gonna be regular?
No, just being.
I would like him to come out as the demon and lose. But I think it'll give way more prestige to the Fiend. I would personally like that because the demon is undefeated.
Right.
So if the demon loses to the Fiend, that's a big deal. Right? Yeah. So I think that would be the smart move, but do I think WWE's smart? No.
And then when Balor comes back, he comes back heel and joins the OC.
That's what I would like. Yeah. Styles versus Ricochet, don't really care.
You don't?
Nope, don't care. So I'm not going to call it. I'm not going to call it because I don't care.
I'm going to say I'm going to say Styles.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to go off of y'all's two's pick because I literally have zero interest in that match.
The who?
I have zero interest in that match, so I'm not even picking.
Dang. Boy, that hurt.
Goldberg versus Dolph Ziggler. Goldberg.
Squash.
Goldberg, yeah. Redeeming himself from Super Showdown.
Trish Stratus versus Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte.
Wow.
It's got to be Charlotte. It's got to be Charlotte.
It's got to be Charlotte. It's got to be Charlotte. Especially because
it'll bolster her career.
Passing of the torch.
You're passing of the torch, and also, every wrestler goes out on their back. But also when Trish said to be the woman, you've got to beat the woman. So Charlotte's going to beat the woman. And then Drew Gulak versus Oni Lorcan.
Who? What?
I didn't even realize that.
Gulak.
I didn't know that Oni Lorcan went to 205 Live.
Man, don't get on here with that.
All
right, I ain't interested in that match, so let's get to the next one.
All right, let's go to NXT.
Something that's Dion worthy. Wait a minute, that's it?
Yeah, that's the card.
Oh, well.
There was supposed to be more, but I think they played it out the last Raw and Smackdown.
You're right.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah.
good night, everybody.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
Adam Cole
it's
versus.
nice there's less matches.
Yeah,
Huh?
I agree. Adam Cole versus Gargano. I already know. I already know what Eugene
I'm a,
said. All undisputed, so he's picking Cole, undisputed era, Roderick Strong.
yeah, and I'm gonna say Cole gonna keep it too.
I agree with that.
Ciampa gonna come take it back from Cole. So
Street Profits versus Undisputed Era. We know Eugene's pick for that.
Undisputed Era.
because Street Profits gonna move to Raw.
So you're saying Undisputed keeps it? Or Undisputed wins it?
Yeah, because Street Profits gonna take the place of the Revival.
I'm gonna have to agree with you guys, I guess. Velveteen Dream versus Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong. So
Velveteen. Well, it's just a triple threat, huh?
It's triple threat. He doesn't need to lose.
I think, Strong probably pins
Dunne. I think Strong is going to do one of those things where somebody else hits the move and you throw them out and then you take the cover. Yeah. And so I'm gonna go with your Undisputed Era wins all the gold. Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim.
I haven't seen a build up, but it's time for Shayna to lose the belt and move to the main roster. So Mia Yim.
They've been building up Mia for a couple of weeks now, so it's like
they've been building her up for seems like a couple of months. It seems.
Does she still wrestle in those pants?
Yeah, she still wrestles in the pants.
Damn.
And she's been beating up like her friends too, like along the way. So
Mia Yim's been on. She's got a rocket push, but you remember, so did what's her name?
Bianca?
Montez Ford. Yeah, Bianca Belair, Montez Ford, girlfriend or wife. Yeah.
I honestly thought she was gonna win though, but if she didn't win it, then I mean
I'm gonna say Baszler. I'm gonna say Baszler.
Is that Bianca's real hair?
No.
Okay. I just had to ask, man.
Candice LeRae.
A clean submission?
Clean win or no? I don't think it's clean. But I think Baszler wins. I don't think they're moving her up yet. And I think if Baszler can beat Mia Yim, it just adds to this dominance that she's having. And I think if anybody's going to beat Baszler, it's going to be this new heel Io Shirai.
She's heel?
Yeah, she's heel now. That's why she's going against Candice LeRae. She got mad. She snapped the last time she lost to Shayna Baszler in the steel cage.
Io Shirai's going to win that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so basically they Becky Lynching her.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, where she snaps because she lost. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man. She snaps.
Yeah, so
I
think that's why I think that Io Shirai is going for Baszler, and then I think that Io Shirai takes the belt from Baszler.
I mean, she's gonna have to do something drastic to her to make the
either that belt. Or Mia Yim, because they're both heels. Mia Yim will be the transitional champ just to lose to Io Shirai.
Transitional?
Yeah.
Nah, not Mia, not Jade.
Yep, they'll transition her.
Man.
The question is, here's the biggest question. SummerSlam, second biggest pay-per-view of the year. We're talking about, for WWE, it's always considered the second biggest.
I thought it was WrestleMania.
WrestleMania's the first biggest.
Oh.
So the second biggest is SummerSlam, right?
Oh, you said second biggest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there anybody after SummerSlam who moves up to the main roster? Or is it only going to be after WrestleMania? And if it is, you guys are... So Dion's saying that you think Street Profits move to Raw after this.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
They add flair. And they can feud. Because let's say the Usos turn heel.
Here's my biggest question. I guess I need to answer your question. I shouldn't have asked the question. I should have just said what I meant to say.
Say it.
When's Velveteen Dream coming?
When is it coming?
Because this is the last show before they move, or at least when SmackDown moves to Fox. I think you need to move at least one person from the main. And who better than Velveteen?
Like if you're talking about ratings and you want to blow ratings up, when is Velveteen Dream coming?
I want him to go, but it's like I'm scared of him to go with everyone that's been from NXT that's been treated.
But he's different than Black and Ricochet. He's different. He's different.
When do they move to Fox? Is the question.
They move October, I think, same time as when
AEW starts.
AEW is on there.
Okay, that's when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you think Velveteen moves to SmackDown?
If they're gonna move him, that'll be when they'll do it.
I mean,
when it's time to go to Fox.
It could.
I think everybody is. I think that if you're a WWE fan, the biggest question is when is Velveteen Dream coming? To me, that's if you're a WWE fan.
And I'm gonna tell you why I think they'll move him up. Well, I think that's why they'll move him up at that point in time, so they can get the ratings on their debut at Fox. But I think they're gonna move him up because now I see him on the game previews.
Exactly. I was about to point that out too.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, they got an NXT, they got Velveteen Dream.
But then they didn't show any others. They showed Gargano, yeah.
No, they didn't show Gargano. They didn't show Cole. They didn't.
No, it was WWE people, and then they had Velveteen Dream in the mix. And
see,
I'm like,
so here's the thing: if Velveteen Dream is in the commercial, they're going to treat him differently than the other, and that I think that's why they haven't called him up yet, because they know when they do, they're going to put a rocket on his ass and shoot him straight to the moon.
Well, I hope that is the case.
Same here.
Because I'm tired of seeing talent from NXT.
No. Ricochet, I knew Ricochet wasn't going to be a main eventer. I knew that, and I'm not saying because Ricochet's he's just very boring, a stale guy on the mic. I'm from blah, 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 Kentucky, blah, blah, blah. He just doesn't have it. I think the best thing to do for Ricochet, turn heel, Page manager, Page's heel stable, then I could see some promise from Ricochet. But,
him...
That's good. That's
him and Adam Cole are the only two I'm worried about if they...
I see Adam Cole going straight to the moon as well. I think this is why these guys, they haven't just moved them up. Ciampa... I'm more worried about Ciampa than the other two. Because Tommaso Ciampa said he's going back to NXT. But I'm more worried about Ciampa than I am like Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream. Like, I'm worried about Ciampa more than that.
Yeah, their personality is too big.
Their personalities are too big. Like, I know when Vince sees Vince knows who Velveteen Dream is. Velveteen Dream has gotten in trouble. So when everybody's like, oh, some of your... he's gotten in trouble for his tweets with Vince McMahon. The call me up Vince pants, all those things that Velveteen Dream does. Vince knows that he's got lightning in a bottle with Velveteen Dream. I think there's enough buzz around about Adam Cole as well. Where people are like, hey, this guy's the next HBK. That's kind of the talk about Adam Cole, right? He has the look of, almost like the look of HBK, all those things, right? So
yeah, you can tell by his forehead.
Yeah, he's got the giant 8 head, but he still kind of has the HBK, thing going for him. And I think Vince knows that those two are special.
The HBK mystique.
Yes. So I think Vince knows that about those two. The question is timing. And I think for Vince, timing is everything. And I think he knows when Dream comes. I'm not saying that Dream's going to win every single match, but he'll be like an IC champion within his first year and things like that, or U.S. champion, stuff like that, and not like Ricochet where he's just losing just because, right? I think that he knows that that Velveteen, because Velveteen, when he loses, he looks good. That's the thing about Velveteen Dream. Like, how many people do you see lose and look that good, right?
Well, the thing about it, like you say, as far as the titles, he's gonna be one of those people who don't need a title to be relevant.
Of course.
I mean, just him being just creating the atmosphere around him.
Yes, and imagine when he does with the higher promo, his backstage things that he does. Like, I don't know if you guys ever watch NXT, his backstage promos that he does. So imagine him with a higher budget doing that. I mean, that's gonna be fantastic. So I think Vince is smart enough to know that Velveteen Dream has got it. When John Cena tweets that if I ever came back to wrestle, the guy that I want to wrestle the most out of everybody is Velveteen Dream.
Whoa.
Vince knows that Velveteen Dream is something special. Vince is not that oblivious.
He got an endorsement from Cena?
Yes.
Wow. That's huge.
And not just Cena. I think there's a bunch of people. Like, I think Kurt Angle even mentioned him at one point.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are high on Velveteen Dream. And I'm saying Vince is not that deaf where he's like, oh, who's this Velveteen Dream guy? He knows who Velveteen Dream is. He knows who Adam Cole is. Right?
Yeah, he come a long way from Tough Enough, huh?
Yeah, he sure did. So I don't want to. I'm not going to sit there and dance around the question. The question is, when's Velveteen Dream come in? You guys are saying the Fox debut. That's a good answer. I don't think so. But that is a good answer. I think post WrestleMania.
WrestleMania?
Yep. I still think post WrestleMania.
Man, that's way next year.
I know.
Oh, come on, homie.
I know. I still think post WrestleMania. But I do think that this is his last year on NXT.
Man, I think he makes an appearance in the Rumble before he makes his actual main roster debut at Mania or Mania time.
Let's put it this way: I hope not. I hope not. I hope that he debuts at the day after WrestleMania, as the closer. I'd rather him. No, because remember the closer debut after WrestleMania is always the biggest. Do you see what I'm saying? So if he shows his face at the Royal Rumble, it's not as big as if he comes out at the end the day after WrestleMania. That's like, hey, this is our biggest debut. That's paying him a lot of respect.
But that's just so much time, though.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. But sometimes patience is a virtue. If you do it correct, it can be done magically. And I think if he comes out at the very end, nobody's expecting it, and he comes out after WrestleMania as the closer for the day after WrestleMania, that's a big deal. Another question is Pete Dunne ever going to make it to the main roster?
I hope he does.
If so,
the guy had the longest reigning title reign.
Not just that, Pete Dunne is a monster.
Yeah.
If so, it need to be SmackDown.
I mean, you want to talk about a good match for anything? Dolph Ziggler versus Pete Dunne. I mean, if you want to talk about a match that would blow the roof off of something. These are two guys that will probably, Dolph Ziggler's never going to win the world title again. Pete Dunne will probably never win the title, but Pete Dunne versus Andrade Cien Almas. Pete Dunne versus Aleister Black.
Pete Dunne versus Drew McIntyre.
Pete Dunne versus Cesaro.
Yeah, so I mean, you have so many matches you could do with Pete Dunne that are and Pete Dunne his character work is really good too. I think the Undisputed Era debut as a faction whenever they come.
Really?
Unless they're saving that one for post WrestleMania when Undisputed Era come and they do an invasion.
Now that I can believe.
Like a invasion style thing.
Yeah.
But they're still a hot thing in NXT. It's
they're the hottest thing in NXT.
Well, they would have to have somebody to replace them immediately.
Whoa. That's what I said, post WrestleMania. That's a long way away. Look at the talent that they picked up in this contest, like the ACH guy, Keith Lee. Keith Lee is getting his push. What's his name?
ACH is there, huh?
Yeah, ACH is there.
Martinez.
Trevor Lee. I don't remember his new name. Something Wild. DJ Z.
Caveman Wild or something.
Yeah, whatever. No, DJ Z's name is something Wild. So they have a lot of talent in NXT. They just have to build them up. So, and I think in 6 months, and you already know Riddle's going to still be big by then. I'm not a big Riddle guy, but he's NXT style. So
what do you think of
Rectum Wild?
Kushida?
Oh yeah, they have Kushida as well. So yeah, so they have the pieces for NXT to shift over to shift over Undisputed Era, and I don't think it lasts long. Bobby Fish is like close to 40, so I don't think the Undisputed Era lasts long. You know, they're just going to go there to help Adam Cole. They're just going to go there to help Adam Cole, and Adam Cole's going to go solo, and the rest of those guys are going to get reduced to
Fall off the map.
Yep, fall off the map, all of them. Where they're going to ask to go back. Yeah, they're going to ask to go back to NXT.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But they're just going to be there to make Adam Cole like much more legitimate, like to fight me, like we'll all dog tactic jump you, things like. Does that make sense? That's all they're going to do.
Yeah. Gang mentality crap.
Uh-huh.
Don't forget too, they got back Tyler Breeze and Fandango.
Who?
NXT.
Fandango went to NXT as well?
Yeah, last week's episode he helped Tyler Breeze after he got attacked.
Are they going to do the fashion files again over there?
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I know for sure they'll do some tag team work. It'd be interesting if they do singles work. They go one-on-one.
I want to see those two together, but now that they can actually wrestle, that'd be great.
But yeah, possibilities are endless.
Yeah. So there goes. So we have a big weekend this weekend. I'm actually looking forward to SummerSlam. So yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, most interesting. Let's see. All right.
So I'm done.
So
I don't know if you guys have anything else to talk about, but I'm all out of things. I think we've hit everything.
Hell, that's about it. We did 2 weeks worth of stuff.
Yeah.
with homage to Harley Race, the late Harley Race.
Late Harley Race.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rest in peace, and so
So I guess that's it. I guess we'll be signing off, and we'll have a big episode because the end of the G1 Climax is this weekend, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll have the results from the G1 Climax, and then we'll have Impact, which I will watch this week. And then we'll have
2 pay-per-views.
2 pay-per-views, yes.
Takeover and SummerSlam.
Yes. So we will have a lot to talk about. And of course, Raw and Smackdown. Let's see how they handle
Yeah, and that's going to lead up to the end of the month where we have All Out.
Yes, which is big news. So.
Oh, yeah.
So I do appreciate the person who stayed in and listened, and for the people who are going to watch this on YouTube, the YouTube views are getting better, so I'm thankful for that. We do appreciate it, and we'll catch up with you guys next week. So there goes Eugene, there goes D. This is your boy Jay Dash. I'm back from my vacation. I won't be taking a vacation anytime soon, hopefully, so things will be more consistent. And I will talk to you all later. Peace.
Yeah. Post pictures of your vacation online, man.
See.
Peace.
All right. Peace.